Dosto, welcome to MATV Studios. As you know, our program is every Thursday from 9:30 10:30, and you can watch us on, obviously, on Sky Channel 793, and at the same time, you can watch us on Instagram, you can Facebook, you can watch us on YouTube and Twitter, and also online. To watch online, you can tell your friends. All they got to do is just click www.matvchannel.com. Program's name is Sathi ke Sang Sang, and we have different kind of guests every week. And today's guest is Honorable Lord Sheikh, Lord Mohammad Sheikh. He was elevated to House of Lords in 2006, and he is an active peer and speaks regularly in the House of Lords on a variety of subjects. He has traveled extensively overseas and visited a number of countries around the world. And Lord Sheikh actually was born in Kenya, isn't it? Born in Kenya and brought up in Uganda. And he roots in Punjab, as his father was born in Amritsar. So he's very much a Punjabi Lord. Lord Sheikh was managed to establish that his family connections with Amritsar go back to 1820. Let's welcome to Lord Sheikh first, and I will tell you more about Lord Sheikh. Lord Sheikh, welcome to our studio. और ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ खैर मकदम.
थैंक यू ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬੜਾ ਸ਼ੁਕਰੀਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਨਵੀਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਅੱਜ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਤੇ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤੇ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ ਕਰਾਂ
ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਡੀ
ਜ਼ਬਾਨ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹੈ ਥੋੜੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਤੇ ਬੋਲਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ ਸਾਨੂੰ
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਬੋਲਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਬਾਨ ਹੋਈ ਨਾ
ਹੋਈ ਨਾ ਥਰਡ ਮੋਸਟ ਪਪੂਲਰ ਲੈਂਗੁਏਜ ਸੀ ਇਸ ਕੰਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ
ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਇਟ ਇਜ਼ ਨਾਟ ਦ ਫਸਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਦੈਟ ਵੀ ਹੈਵ ਮੈਟ ਐਂਡ ਵੀ ਹੈਵ ਮੈਟ ਔਨ ਅਦਰ ਟੈਲੀਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਸਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਆਲਸੋ ਔਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਰੇਡੀਓ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਮੈਂ ਬੁਲਾਉਂਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਔਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੜੀ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਖੜਕ ਵੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹੈ
ਦੇਖੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਭਰਾ ਮੇਰੀ ਜੜ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ 'ਚ ਪੈਦਾਇਸ਼ ਅਫਰੀਕਾ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ ਮੈਂ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਤੋਂ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਲੋਕ ਇੰਨੀਆਂ ਜੱਫੀਆਂ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਦਿਨ 'ਚ 4-5 ਇਨਵੀਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਆਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਲੋਰਡ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੌਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖੋ ਨਾ ਉਹਦੀ ਜੜ ਦੇਖੋ
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਆਈ ਐਮ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਯੂ ਨੋ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਇਟ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬੈਸਟ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬਾਕੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੂਬੇ ਨੇ ਨਾ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਸੂਬੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਲਕਿ ਜ਼ਿਲ੍ਹੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਇਲਾਕਾ ਹੀ ਕਹਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਔਰ ਲਾਹੌਰ ਹੈ ਉੱਥੇ ਬੈਸਟ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਉਸ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕੇਂਦਰੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸੈਂਟਰਲ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਆਧਾਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਆ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮੰਨਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਬੈਟਰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰੀ ਲੋਕ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਵੀ ਪਿਆਰ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਿ ਹਰਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਉੱਥੇ ਨੇ ਦੂਜਾ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਦੇ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਲਾਗੇ ਇੱਕ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਨਗਰ ਹੈ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਮੈਗਜ਼ੀਨ ਨਿਕਲਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਲੜੀ 1934 ਤੋਂ ਨਿਕਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਮੈਂ 22 ਸਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਕਾਲਮ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਉਹਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਸੀ ਸਮੁੰਦਰੋਂ ਪਾਰ ਸੋ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਖਾਸ ਕਿਸਮ ਦਾ ਸਨੇਹ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਤੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉੱਥੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਨਗਰ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਲਾਰਡ ਸ਼ੇਖ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਹੋਰ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਕਿ ਲਾਰਡ ਸ਼ੇਖ ਹੈਜ਼ ਬੀਨ ਆਨਰਡ ਬਾਈ ਦ ਪ੍ਰੈਜੈਂਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਆਫ ਸੈਵਰਲ ਪਰਸਨਲ ਅਵਾਰਡਸ which have been given to him for his achievements, leadership, business and community work. He is a big businessman. At the same time, he shares the feelings that all the people living in Britain, they are equal, and he looks after all the communities, and he wants a community cohesion whenever he speaks in Lords, House of Lords. He has also been awarded an honorary doctorate for humanitarian work he undertakes. Where did you get this honorary award, Lord Sheikh?
It was given to me by International University, which is based in Kuala Lumpur.
All right.
Limcock Big University, because of the community work I do. I have my own charity, which is funded by me and Lady Sheikh, and it's named after my father.
Oh, that's right. So you got the. I got my doctorate from University of East London.
I know you have.
For my contribution and everything, but your contribution is much more than what I do.
And mere primary gal suno. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਕਰੋ ਨਾ we must at all times maintain our humility.
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ. That is very important. That's very important. ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੈਰ ਆ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ ਤੇ ਰੱਖੋ। ਔਰ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਮੈਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਇਹੀ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪੈਰ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ 'ਤੇ ਨੇ, ਹਿਊਮਿਲਿਟੀ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਇੱਕ ਸੁਹਿਰਦ ਨਿਗਾਹ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੇਖਦੇ ਹੋ।
ਦੇਖੋ ਜੀ, ਵੱਡਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਦਰਖਤ ਨੂੰ ਫਲ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਜੇ ਨਾ, ਉਹਦੀਆਂ ਟਹਿਣੀਆਂ ਨੀਚੇ ਚਲੇ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ, ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੀ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਨੀਚੇ ਰੱਖਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ, ਭਾਵੇਂ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਜਾਵੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਇੱਕ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਦੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਸੋ ਹੈਵ ਟੂ ਟ੍ਰੀਟ ਐਵਰੀਬਾਡੀ ਇਕੁਅਲੀ।
ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਆਈ ਵਾਸ ਸੀਇੰਗ ਦਿਸ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਾਈਨੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਔਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਪਰਟੀ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ 'ਚੋਂ ਜ਼ਾਹਰਾ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ EMPLOYEES ਹੋਣਗੇ। ਜਦੋਂ ਆਈ ਰਿਮੈਂਬਰ ਮਾਈ ਬ੍ਰਦਰ, ਵੀ ਗੋਟ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਇਨ ਲੁਧਿਆਣਾ, ਹੀ ਗੋਟ ਲੋਟ ਆਫ ਪੀਪਲ ਵਰਕਿੰਗ ਫॉर ਹਿਮ, ਪਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੇ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਦੁੱਖਾਂ ਸੁੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ,
ਬਹੁਤ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ,
ਉਹ ਦੁੱਖਾਂ ਸੁੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਸਾਂਝਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਸੀ। ਆਈ ਐਮ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਯੂ ਆਲਸੋ ਡੂ ਦ ਸੇਮ।
ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਯੂ ਹੈਵ ਟੂ। ਦੇਖੋ ਜੀ, ਇਫ call him Vaheguru, call him Allah, call him Bhagwan,
ਸਭ ਇੱਕ ਹੀ ਨੇ,
ਸਭ ਇੱਕ ਹੀ ਨੇ, ਦੇਤਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ। ਤੇ ਅਗਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਕੁਝ ਗਾਵੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੂਸਰਿਆਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕੁਝ ਕਰੋ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੇ ਬੜੇ ਸਕੂਨ ਮਿਲੇਗਾ, ਸੈਟੀਸਫੈਕਸ਼ਨ। as ਤੇਰਾ ਭਾਵੇਂ EMPLOYEE ਹੋਵੇ ਜਾਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਦਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਸੋ ਵੈਰੀ ਵੈਰੀ,
ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਦੈਟ ਇਜ਼ ਵੈਰੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ। ਅਗਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ EMPLOYEES ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ,
ਵੈਰੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ,
ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਫੇਥ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਵੇ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੇਰਾ EMPLOYER ਹੈ ਉਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਦੁੱਖ ਦਰਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਉਂਦਾ, ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਵੀ ਫਲੋਰਿਸ਼ ਕਰੇਗਾ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹ ਵੀ
very very true, very very true. You get your employees to work effectively as a team, and part of that have that maternal paternal attitude to your employees, and I think if you do that, they would respect you and they know that you are a good employer.
That is why I mentioned my brother. I shouldn't be mentioning the personal issues, but he said the same thing what you have said. Now I was reading your biodata, and I came across this which you have said just now. Actually, that is, you are actively involved in promoting interfaith dialogue and building harmonious relationship between various racial and religious groups, and that is extremely important for Britain. This is our country.
Absolutely.
And it's a multicultural country, it is multi-faith country, it is multilingual country.
Absolutely true. I have connection with all religions, because even if you look at Islam, I'm a Muslim, I'm practicing Muslim. Obviously there are different sects. So it's imperative, very very important, that we maintain harmonious relationships with all the communities. And this is the reason, Sathi Saab, I wrote this book on Maharaja Ranjit Singh.
I was going to mention that.
And this was my main reason, basically. And I think it's so very, very important. And if you look at, although I am not a Sikh, but if you look at the writings, the sayings, and what Guru Nanak Sahib said, Ik Onkar, and if you look at that, Ik Vadave, believe what you like.
Ik Rab hai.
Ik Rab hai. So the directions, the paths are different.
When we talk about Britain, because you are very much into it, the politics of this country. What has happened during the last few days? What are your thoughts on that?
I think at the moment we are very much concerned with Brexit. What will happen? With regard to, are we talking about this terrorist activity? Well, what I think we need to bear in mind is that Islam is religion of peace. It's written in the Holy Quran. You kill one person, you kill the entire humanity. You save one person, you save the entire humanity. And therefore, Islam forbids actions like that.
Right.
And these people do not have true understanding of Islam. Because Islam does not permit actions like that. They have a warped understanding.
ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੁਰਾਨ ਸ਼ਰੀਫ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ 'ਚ ਹੀ ਪੜ੍ਹੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੁਝ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਸਹਿਮਤ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੋ, ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਹਿਮਤ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ, ਐਂਡ ਦੈਟ ਇਜ਼ what it is written there, what you have said just now. Now, it is the angle you look at things.
Yes.
I think those people, they look differently than you do. But when we talk about majority
Yes.
of Muslims,
Yes.
they are peaceful, they are law-abiding people,
Yes.
there is no problem there at well. So those moderate Muslims,
Yes.
do they somehow try to tell these people that?
Well, I have said, and I'll say it again. We are all ambassadors of our religion.
Beautiful, yeah.
Doesn't matter whether you're a Sikh, Hindu, or a Muslim or a Christian. And it's incumbent on us. Sathi Sahib, sometimes problems arise because there is misunderstanding. So many examples. I am the president of Conservative Muslim Forum. And at our last event, we had recital from the Holy Quran, and there's a chapter in the Holy Quran called Bibi Maryam, Mary, mother of Jesus. And that talks about birth of Jesus. That talks about the fact that Jesus was born without, to a virgin lady. People came over and said to me, "Oh Lord Sheikh, we did not know that in the Holy Quran you have a chapter on birth of Jesus." So the point I'm making is sometimes problems arise because of lack of
misunderstanding, not knowing the other community.
And I've always said that there are more similarities between people than contradictions. And if you look at Islam, and it's in my book, if you look at the similarities between Islam and Sikhism, there are a number of similar, and I can go through that. That's actually in the book of talking about. We have to bear in mind, even if you look at Harmandir Sahib, who laid the foundations?
That's right.
Sheikh Farid's writing. Sheikh's companion of Guru Nanak Sahib Mardana. And I've been to Harmandir, you know something. I'm a Muslim. I've been to Harmandir Sahib several times. And when I sit there, Sathi ji, I get sakoon, I get peace.
That's how it should be.
I get peace sitting in a place of worship.
You said that we are the ambassadors of our countries.
Yes.
And you said
our religion.
You said religion also. Our countries.
Yes.
I remember when I came to this country in 1962, I was staying with a family, and the man was totally illiterate.
Yes.
ਲੇਕਿਨ ਉਹਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਗੱਲ ਕਹੀ ਨਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਮੇਰੇ ਦਿਲ 'ਚ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਹਾਈ ਕਮਿਸ਼ਨਰ ਬੈਠਾ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਇਕੱਲਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਉਹੀ ਆ ਉਹਦਾ ਕਹਿਣ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਇਹ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੰਗੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਇਸ ਬਗਾਨੇ ਮੁਲਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਐਕਸੈਪਟੇਬਲ ਹੋਵਾਂਗੇ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਾੜੇ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਕੌਮ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਉਂਗਲੀ ਉੱਠੇਗੀ
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਸਹੀ ਹੈ ਕੋਈ ਗਲਤ ਕੰਮ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਉਹ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਕਹਿਣਗੇ ਇਹ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਹੈ गावे
जी ये पाकिस्तान
तो आया इंडिया तो आया काला वे चिट्टा वे चाइनी whatever that is stereotyping.
Okay, let's move on. You said well in your conversation कि ਜਿਹੜੀ multiculturalism है multi faith element है इस country the multilingual element है इस country do you think the communities are going on parallel lines or do you think they will ever meet and create one Britishness or there? Do you think there's need of that?
I think, I always say, people ask me, who am I? I say, I'm a British Muslim.
Right.
That we can hang on to our religion, if you're Sikh, Hindu or Parsi or whatever. As long as we say, I'm a British Muslim, I'm a British Sikh. I think it's important that we say that this is our home, this is the country we belong to.
Because I was thinking
still keep your connection. Keep your connection wherever you come from. India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal.
Okay.
But this is our home.
I was thinking of Trevor Davis.
Yes.
And he was saying, Trevor Phillips rather. Trevor Phillips, he was saying that multiculturalism has failed. Do you think it has failed?
No, I don't think so. I think that in this country, one of the great things about this country is that all people are not only tolerated. I don't like the word toleration. You have a truth, that's you're tolerating. I like the word accepted.
Accepted.
Accepted. To see, dekho, if you go to other countries, there are certain restrictions. Here, we have mandirs, we have gurdwaras, you got people can be.
There is no better country. There is no better country.
दाढ़ी रखनी है, हिजाब पहन दिया है, जो तुसी करो, ऐसे मुल्क की कर सकते हो.
But in return, we got to, all of us, we got to behave appropriately. We got to have, got to have the faith in the system, and we should be faithful to the country. That is also important.
And I think it's very important to accept and appreciate that this is a land of opportunities.
It is.
If you're prepared to be innovative, to work hard, and create ideas, you will be successful. My own family.
Yes.
We were expelled from Uganda, Sathi ji.
Yeah.
General Amin took everything from us except our brains. Yes. Nobody can take your brain.
And the hard-working attitude and instinct.
Exactly. And
if you have that, you cannot be not successful.
ਅਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੋ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਪੰਜਾਬੀਆਂ ਚ ਨਾ ਹਾਰਡ ਵਰਕ ethics is part of our philosophy.
Yes.
Seriously.
Bilkul.
If you look at Amritsar, you look Lahore, you look at Multan, you look at Ludhiana, all those areas, people are hard working.
Yes, they are.
Punjab is the breadbasket of the
talking about Punjab.
Yeah.
Punjab has been privileged, actually, I will say, that he had this ruler called Maharaja Ranjit Singh.
Yeah.
And you very kindly sent me your book. You have written this book. So you are not just a House of Lords, member of House of Lords. You are also a historian and, in my view, an intellectual. Because what you are doing for us all is commendable. Because I was reading a list of committees you are chairing and your vice chair and so on, and of all the faiths and all the denominations. So talking about Maharaja Ranjit Singh, I have read Sikh history quite extensively, and I was very enthusiastic actually to read your book because I was looking for something different, and it was something different in there. How did you think that you should be writing history of Maharaja Ranjit Singh or history of Punjab?
Basically, the fact is, my roots are in Punjab. My family's connection with Amritsar goes back to 1820. Now, what you've got to bear in mind is that Maharaja Ranjit Singh's headquarters, capital, wasn't Amritsar, was Lahore. He conquered Lahore at the age of 18.
Yeah, he was very young.
He was very young. And he was a brilliant soldier, undoubtedly.
Yes.
He was a gifted soldier.
Yes.
Because if you look at the history of Punjab, there were 12 missiles there. The Bangis were the most powerful misildars. And how he defeated, how he conquered Punjab at the age of 18. And then it went on from there. Then, of course, he went to Amritsar, he went to Multan. The British would not allow him to get into Sindh. He wanted to go into Sindh as well.
Yeah, they put
because the agreement was, the Treaty of Amritsar was signed between Maharaja Ranjit Singh and Lord Bentinck, who was the Governor General. At that time, you got to bear in mind that India was not ruled technically by the British. There was the East India Company.
That's true.
India only became part of the British Empire in 1857. After people say Indian mutiny, I say no, Indian War of Independence. And this is when India became part of the British Empire. So there was this agreement between Britain and Maharaja Ranjit Singh. The British will keep on one side the Sutlej River.
From Satluj.
Exactly. And he wanted to, in fact, Firozpur, he wanted to come to Ludhiana, they were not allowed that. But there was an agreement, and the British, for all their force, they adhered to the Treaty of Amritsar. So the British respected that.
And so did Ranjit Singh.
So did Ranjit Singh. Although he tried to say, let me come to Firozpur. He wanted Firozpur. He wanted Ludhiana.
Yes.
But they were not. He wanted to go down south to...
I think it was to the mutual benefit, really.
Mutual benefit. And I'll tell you something else. There was a political reason. They were afraid of Russians. They were afraid of French. And they saw that as a buffer.
Yes.
And politically also. The British said, oh, let the Maharaja have this part of the world. At least we know that French will not have influence. Having said that, you know, he had in his army, he had Alad, he had Ventura, he had Cable, and Tibel. So he had French, 2 senior French.
Yes.
But they were very loyal to him. He gave them top jobs, and also they were able to train his infantry. You could bear in mind at that time, Maharaja Ranjit Singh did not have much of an infantry. He had 5,000 cavalry housemen. So what the Maharaja wanted to do was to improve, to increase his infantry, and also to be able to get better arms, use of cannons. And this is where the Ventura did help him, because the Indians were good at cannons. But then he saw, you see, what he saw, and one of the reasons he wanted these French people coming here, the deserters from the East India Company, the soldiers, he saw how well drilled they were, how well disciplined.
And he also respected the fact that the British army generals, you know, who not defected from that, but he
the
wanted
soldiers,
to hire them.
Indian soldiers, defected from East India. And in fact, he said to some of his people, go into East India Company, be a recruit there so you can come back and tell us how they function. Because one of those things about British was their discipline. Yeah.
Right. And when I was reading that book, there were a few questions came into mind.
Yes.
You hardly mentioned Rani Jinda. Rani Jinda, mother of Dalip Singh.
Yes.
Why was she spared, you know, from Sathi?
The Rani Jindan is towards the end of my book. Don't forget.
Can I stop you for 1 minute? Forgive me. We got the break. ਦੋਸਤੋ ਬੜੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ Lord Sheikh ਹੋਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ Lord Mohammad Sheikh is very kind that he has come to the studio and we are exchanging the views about Punjab and other issues, also about this country. और ਇਹ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਜਾਰੀ ਰਹੇਗੀ ਛੋਟੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ. Dosto, welcome back, MATV Studios. Today my guest is Lord Mohammad Sheikh, and we are talking about his book, and the book's name is Emperor of the Five Rivers, The Life and Times of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, and this book is available on internet. And we were talking about Maharani Jinda. Yeah. You hardly mentioned, actually, at the end you did, but एक चीज़ मैनू बड़ी खटकी है कि ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜਾ ਰਣਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨਾ ਖਟਕੀ ਕੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਸਹਿਮਤ ਹੋਵੋ ਕਿ ਹੀ ਵਾਸ ਮੋਰ ਮਹਾਰਾਜਾ ਦੈਨ ਏ ਰਿਫਾਰਮਰ when I say reformer I know he was secular and everything. I know why he was secular. He was secular because he was ruling an area where 90% were Muslims and only 10% were Sikhs. That was Hindus. So he had to appoint those people to create an atmosphere of cohesion so that he could rule peacefully. Am I right in that, first of all?
Well, I don't think it was cosmetic. I honestly believe...
I'm not saying it was cosmetic.
I honestly believe that Maharaja believed...
No, it was his policy to believe...
Yeah, but Maharaja believed in secularism.
No, Maharaja believed, perhaps I agree with you to a certain extent, Maharaja was Maharaja. He knew that my survival depends if I am secular.
Now, I think... I would like to say that he partly, maybe so, but he believed in being secular.
Well, maybe.
I give you an example. There was a Muslim who wrote Quran Sharif by hand. And
he got the copy.
He got Maharaja Ranjit Singh asked him to come and see him, and he looked at it because Maharaja Ranjit Singh had only one eye. So he looked at the book and he said, "That's an excellent book." And he then asked Azizuddin, who was a Muslim, his family came from Bukhara, who was his foreign minister, and he said to Azizuddin, "Read something from the Holy Quran." And Azizuddin read the Holy Quran, and he said, some bits of it are similar to what we Sikhs believe.
Okay, that's wonderful. You know, I believe he was a secular as well, but at the end of the day, he was a ruler, and he wanted to rule the country where 90% were from the other community, so he did it right. Okay, when we talk about Maharani Jinda, you know, there's one item in our history, India's history, which is called Sathi.
Sathi.
That's Sathi. Now, Sathi was abolished by William Bentinck in 1829.
1829, yes.
At that time, he was Governor General, and at that time, India's capital was Calcutta. Yeah, later on it shifted to Delhi. 10 years after abolishing in the rest of India, it was still prevalent in Punjab. Now, what I was thinking was that Maharaja Ranjit Singh could have abolished it. He didn't. So eventually, 4 of his queens and 6 of his dasis, they sacrificed themselves on his chitta, on his funeral pyre. Do you think there was a flaw in there?
It really was a situation which should not have happened, because, to be honest, Sikhism, as you very well know, gives great deal of prominence to women. You know, women, like a man and a woman, they are partners. So you're quite right. 4 of his queens committed sati. 6 of the queen's servants committed that.
And in the Sikhism, it is forbidden.
It's forbidden.
It is also forbidden not to have more than one wife.
Yeah. It's forbidden. You're absolutely right. It's forbidden, but he had about 40 wives.
Well, there you are. So therefore, he was a ruler also, and he ruled the way he wanted to.
Yeah, but you have to look. Sometimes, for example, they took wives which was politically expedient to build alliances.
Correct.
And that was one of the reasons. His first wife was Mehtab Kaur, as you very well know. And the second wife was Raj Kaur. Raj Kaur's, that was an alliance. There was an alliance there. And so...
okay, but why I mentioned...
And then, not only that, he liked Moran. It's in the book, actually.
Yeah, I know.
In fact, if you go to Amritsar...
He did all those things.
No, Amritsar, there's a pull named after Moran.
Yeah.
You know, everybody...
No, he did all those things which Maharaja do. And he did that. Why I mentioned Rani Jinda was that पता नहीं आप तो डिजिटल रिसर्च है वो तुसी find out किता कि इस गल बारे why she was not part of that sati?
I don't know.
You didn't say anything in the book.
I don't, because as you know, she was the mother of Dilip Singh. Dilip Singh's mother was...
Well, so were the others, actually.
I realized that, but, you know, I mean, Dilip Singh was, I think, he was about 1 or 2 when Maharaja died, basically.
I think in the Rasm of Sati, maybe a hoye ke je both infant child, then they don't.
That question arises, why did it happen? Was it the establishment at that time?
No,
or my research did not show me that Maharaja had left a will to say that. I haven't been able to establish it. The answer, I know, I mean, in fact, if you read the book, there's a description about what really happened, which was not right. I mean, for example, Maharaja did not believe in slavery. Maharaja did not believe in capital punishment. You know, Maharaja loved children. He was not only a great soldier, but a great administrator. He used to encourage cultural artists, poets.
Coming back to influence, Muslim influence on Sikhs and Hindus,
Yes.
At that time,
Yes.
there was a lot of Muslim influence because they were in a majority. That is why he thought he should be keeping more than one wife. He should have the concubine and things like that.
Sathi ji, even Hindus, Maharajas, Rajas had a lot of wives. I mean, it was very much done to have these concubines. I mean, you mentioned Muslim. His closest advisor was Fakir Azizuddin.
Correct.
His brothers were Imam and Noor.
And they served him very faithfully.
Faithfully, Aziz particularly, because when the Maharaja, he had 3 strokes, After the second stroke, he had difficulty in speaking. And Fakir Azizuddin, he got so close to him that he was able to look at his face, at his mouth, able to say what the Maharaja was saying.
Okay, ਜਦੋਂ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ ਦੇ ਦੌਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਫਗਾਨਿਸਤਾਨ ਬਾਰੇ ਬੜੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ since what happened in America, ਉਦੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ Afghanistan is mentioned everywhere, and it is often said ਕਿ nobody ruled over Afghanistan, nobody conquered them, but nobody mentions Ranjit Singh. Did you?
Ranjit Singh actually, he did. But then, obviously, there were problems afterwards. Even
afterwards, maybe.
The British, indeed, people don't know that, if you like.
No, these, I mean, when we talk about
Nowshera,
the British,
he conquered Nowshera.
When we talk about the British press, it is never mentioned.
No. British press, for example, one of these things we are trying to do is telling the world what the people from the Indian subcontinent, what they did during the First World War. 1.5 million people in the Indian subcontinent fought in the First World War. And this is something not appreciated, basically.
That is very
true. But it's up to us, the modern, if you like, I consider myself an Indian, to tell the world what we have done. I give you an example. The division of India. The reason it was divided was because Churchill wanted that to happen.
Well, it's a different opinion actually there.
You see, because I know that what's his name? But the point I'm making is that there are reasons why.
Churchill, at that time, it was Labour Party in power. Yes. It was Lord Attlee.
I know, but it was the plans were made probably before then. The point I'm making is that we do not know about these things.
Okay.
Anyway,
let's move on to another issue. You are also chairman of Guru Nanak Worldwide.
I've just been asked to be chairman because I'm not only that, I am patron of 6 organizations.
Right.
3 of them are Muslim organizations and 3 are non-Muslim organizations. Because the fact is that I believe that I have to get myself involved in building bridges, building harmony between various people.
Okay, you are also involved in party parliamentary group for Dalits, which is backward classes, Jat Path and all that. We do hear off and on, these people who are from Dalit classes, they are saying we are being discriminated in this country.
Yes.
And they're also demanding that there should be law against it. It should be incorporated in the Racial Discrimination Act. Do you think that is right?
This was discussed in Parliament. I spoke against it. I don't really know to what extent there's a problem. If you look at the teachings of Muslims, if you look at the teaching of Guru Nanak Sahib and all the 10 gurus, they all talked about equality. Correct. People are equal. You should not.
As a matter of fact, Guru Gobind Singh said, "Manas ki jaat sab ek hai pehchan wo."
You see, he said Hindu prayers and Muslim prayers are the same. Yeah, because he talked about it. Okay. And you see, if you look at Islam, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, asked a black man to do the azan. First person to do the azan was a man by the name of Bilal. Okay, he was actually a slave, and he was released from slavery by Khalifa Abu Bakr. The point is that our prophets all talked about equality.
Talked about equality, but we are not pursuing
We
it.
are not pursuing it. That's very, very true.
There are different sects in
I know.
Islam. They are killing each other, if I may say so. And different denominations in Sikhism, in Hinduism, you name it. So we are not following the teachings of that. But coming back to this country, when you talk about, because I was really fascinated that you are the member of this parliamentary group for Dalits. What I wanted to know is whether the Jat-Path discrimination is so prevalent in this country or not.
It is to some extent prevalent.
Do you think
there have been instances, there have been cases as well. It does happen. I'm against it. Certain thing I'm against, very much against female infanticide, where if a woman is going to have a girl, they abort on it. I'm very much against it.
Of course,
seriously against it.
Yeah.
And not only in India, in Pakistan,
it is happening in this country.
It's happening in this country.
There was a report in the Sunday Times.
Yeah.
There was a report in the Sunday Times that it is so frequently happening.
Yeah.
That there should be steps should be taken. Okay, coming back to Jat-Path, do you think this should be incorporated in the Discrimination Act?
No, I don't think you can. I think it's a question of culture. I'll give you an example. I've spoken in the House of Lords on female genital mutilation, and that is illegal, but it still goes on. Important is that we change the way people say. And one of the reasons, for example, I give you female infanticide is because the dowry system. One of the reasons. So with regard to Dalits, or call them Harijans, I mean Mahatma Gandhi ji called them Harijans, people of the, God's people. Yeah. And obviously, when you go to India, for example.
No, India we know, but here in this country.
To a certain extent, it's happening. This is my
How can that be eradicated?
Well, eradicated, obviously, I think by people not practicing, getting that out of their head, that this is not right. Right? This is not right. Because here in this country, India the under adi zaat hai te eh kam karda pe, adi eh zaat hai te eh kam karda.
That is horrible.
The main thing is education.
Yes.
Education kills.
ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮਾਨਸਿਕਤਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਮਾਈਂਡ ਸੈਟ ਹੈ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ. ਓਕੇ, ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟਰੀ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਾਫੀ ਮਤਲਬ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟਰੀ ਗਰੁੱਪਸਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੈੱਡ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਔਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮਤਲਬ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਵਾਈਸ ਚੇਅਰ ਹੋ, ਕਾਫੀ ਐਕਟਿਵ ਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੇਰੀਅਸ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚਲੋ ਇਹ ਛੱਡੋ, ਦੂਜੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਟਰਕਿਸ਼ ਰਿਪਬਲਿਕ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਉਸ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਹੋ, ਨਾਰਦਰਨ ਸਾਈਪਰਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਉਹਦਾ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟਰੀ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਆ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ, ਔਰ then there are quite different kind of all-party parliamentary group, even in fashion.
Fashion, pata kyun? I tell you, is ethical fashion. Kyunke what I'm trying to do, or what we are trying to do, is to eradicate bad practices, overcrowding, for example, like in Bangladesh cases have happened. People working on unsafe machines. People, for example, no proper access, and that sort of thing, what they call ethical fashion. Fine. If you're going to, and we were talking about this earlier on, if you're going to employ people, you have to make sure that the working conditions are ideal. And this is why we talk about ethical fashion. I'll give you an example. I went to Uzbekistan only about 7-8 weeks ago. And I went there, and normally when I go there, I'm met by they give me VIP treatment, I get all the protocol, and I'll have a meeting with the Prime Minister, President goes on. One of the issues I wanted to look into was a question of child labor. And Uzbekistan grew a lot of cotton. Uzbekistan was ruled by Russian Soviets until 1991. And one of the things which concerned me is forced labor, child labor. And my findings are, and I did a 30-page report which went to the Prime Minister, and that
because
is to look child labor, getting
is
children
also
to working.
Prevalent in Pakistan, Bangladesh, India.
In Bangladesh.
So Uzbekistan is the same.
Uzbekistan is getting much, much better. They have really virtually got rid of it. Because there are certain, like for example, organization who would not buy anything made in Uzbekistan because of child labor. So there are issues which I do care about. I care about domestic violence, for example, you know. I care about forced marriages. I care about people who need help. I think this is so very, very important.
Do you think our people, you know, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, they are more involved in these kind of activities like domestic violence?
Nah, Sathi ji, that is wrong.
Do you
domestic
think
violence applies in every class, every society member, British, African, whites, whatever. Domestic violence is a problem across the board.
Right. Not more.
No. Domestic violence, take it from me. I've studied domestic violence.
Because when you talk
even
about
professional English people.
Because when
and I tell you something else, Sathi ji, it's not always a man hitting the woman. There are cases.
The other way around.
It has 20% of the cases is women. औरत आदमी नु मारेगी.
और बहुत सारे cases, that's what I read. बहुत सारे cases which आदमी जिला दसदा नहीं. वो रिपोर्ट नहीं करता कि मेरी बेइज्जती होएगी.
बेइज्जती नहीं वैसे गलो जी देखो जी.
It is a very serious issue.
Forced marriages, I've spoken on this issue. There should be no forced marriages in Islam. Islam ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਵਿਆਹ ਜਦੋਂ ਨਿਕਾਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਾ ਇਮਾਮ ਦੀ ਰਿਸਪੌਂਸਿਬਿਲਿਟੀ ਹੈ ਵੇ ਕਿ ਕੁੜੀ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਨੂੰ ਦੋਵਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛੇ ਨਿਕਾਹ ਮਨਜ਼ੂਰ ਹੈ ਗਵਾਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ.
That is ethically.
No. Not ethically. That is a requirement.
That is ethically, but people don't follow that.
No, it's not ethical.
I'm not talking about Islam only.
नहीं मेरी गल सुनो. That is according to Muslim principles. लेकिन सिर्फ चलते पैने.
यही तो मैं कह रहा ना. की करे बंदा.
पर देखो जी हिजाब पाना. से औरत ने हिजाब पाना है ना. She should be allowed to do that.
Right.
और निकाब पाना she should be allowed to do that.
And burqa?
लेकिन कई आदमी पियो होएगा खामंद होएगा क्या आएगा हिजाब पा निकाब पा. Sometimes it is something forced on the woman, and I know these cases because I've had complaints on these.
Because you are an expert on Islamic issues, burqa jada hai, it is a cultural thing or religious?
Strictly देखो जी there are schools of thoughts. ऐ कहंदे जे कि तुसी मस्जिद जाओ तुसी सिर नु करो. Same देखो जी जब तुसी कोई गुरुद्वारा जांदा है.
हाँ तो वो तो I'm talking about the burqa.
Burqa के अंदर schools of thoughts are niqab is not necessary according to certain schools of thoughts.
Right. I thought it was cultural rather than.
It's culture. When I was young, मेरी माँ बुरखा पाती थी. हैं जी उस time it was all. It was at that time लोग औरतां जी उस वक्त के अंदर. ते फिर when I grew up उन्हें फिर बुरखा मेरी माँ ने बुरखा पाना बंद कर दिया. Most women I know, they very few of them wear niqab. Very few. But my attitude is if they want to do that, they should be allowed to, provided it doesn't interfere. अगर कोई डॉक्टर होवे, कोई टीचर होवे, और निकाब किस तरह पाके बच्चन पढ़ा सकती है? Because you got to look at their.
क्योंकि we read in the press about these kind of things. Okay, let's move on. बहुत सारे साडे viewers है ना, वो सोचते हैं कि होंगे ज़रूर पे ये House of Lords किमें काम करता है?
House of Lords अंदर देखो जी, I did not do any lobbying. I'll tell you a little bit about how I entered House of Lords. I was the first non-white person to be president of Chartered Insurance Institute, my professional body. I was the first non-white person to be chairman of British Insurance Brokers Association. Now, I believe that you have to be part of the establishment. Whatever you do, accountant, lawyer, whatever you do, we must become part of the establishment. I was not a politician. My
but
backing.
You're a conservative peer.
Yeah, I'm a conservative peer. My background is business, academia. I was used to be visiting lecturer, and therefore I joined the Conservative Party, and within 18 months, I had a phone call from Michael Howard to say that we'd like to propose you.
Okay, we got 2-3 minutes now. So when we talk about House of Lords, I'm sorry I interrupted. House of Lords, किस किस्म के लॉर्ड्स ने कितना मतलब एक तो पार्टी जिस तुझे कंजर्वेटिव पार्टी दो कोई लेबर पार्टी दे होएगा एक क्रॉस पार्टी कंजर्वेटिव होंदे होर किस किस्म दे होंदे ने एक हेरेडिटरी पीयर्स होंदे ने
जी देखो जी मेनली जेड़े ना there are three types of peers. One is political appointees, conservative, Lib Dems, Labour. Three main parties. There are smaller parties. SNP don't believe in sending in representative to the House of Lords. Then there are independent. Anybody can apply to be an independent.
Independent.
Anybody can apply to be a. They can do that if they have the right background, if they can contribute.
What is your opinion about the number of peers? Because some people are saying there are 800 there.
800 it's a bit bloated at the moment, but not every one of them is there. And not every one of them is active. I'm very active.
I can see that.
I am on my feet because I take the view there's no point in becoming a peer unless I was able to contribute effectively. But Sathi ji, I speak on number of subjects. I don't confine myself to ethnic matters because I take the view. I speak on defense, I speak on business, I speak on humanitarian issues, I speak on environment, so I speak on a variety of subjects.
Okay. We got last 1 minute. Tell me something. Do you think in this country we will succeed in maintaining the multicultural society, multi-faith society, multilingual society?
I am optimistic.
There will be harmony here?
I am optimistic.
What kind of future you see?
I am optimistic about the fact. I think, I give you an example. When I started doing my business, there were couple of Sikh clients I had.
I've got to stop you there. I'm sorry. Thank you very much for coming, Lord Sheikh. And it's a pleasure talking to you.
खत्म होगी ये गल
बस खत्म होगी
बस जी
टाइम गोज वेरी फास्ट
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਵੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਮਜ਼ਾ ਆਇਆ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ
ਇਹ ਸੀ ਸਾਡਾ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ I'm very sure that you must have liked it, and jo bhi tode taasraat hon, please send me an email. You can see my email on the screen, and I will be seeing you next week. Have a wonderful week.